We came so far from dreams. The path was hard for me. They thought we fall, you see. Well, look at us now, look at us now. We make it hot when we on the scene. Yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team. Yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around. You know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we. Tell me who better than we. We soaring to places you never could reach. When we walk in that spot, don't hear none of you speak. Shh, do you want peace or the peace? A king about to put you to sleep. Listen, my team is elite. You not even qualified to compete. He starving, he barely can eat. I guess that's why he always itching for beef. So I put him on ice and I told him to chill. Close your mouth if you can't pay for the meal. Making statements that you know you don't mean. Nice guy trying to act like he mean. Keep it a buck, keep it a bean. Attitudes will put you dudes in the beam. Izuku, he don't live in reality. Shake back, all become a fatality. Yeah, how you gon' hate when you mirror us? He think he a star, he ain't serious. X him out, we not on the same frequency. If you broke, you ain't hearing this. Work the screw, anime, that's how I feel, period. We winning, that's making them furious. We make it high when we on the scene, yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team, yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around, you know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we.
Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leon Mookie here, and I'm back. Back with you with another new part of What If Izuku Had a Bakugan Quirk. This is part 5, and thanks a lot again for all the love, support that you guys have been giving me for this What If. It really means a lot. However, after this part, I'll be putting this What If on the side for a bit. I'll still be posting it, but updates will be not as frequent as before. So, yeah. At any rate, also, let me go down the list of all the Bakugan for that of this What If after all. Because again, when I made that of multiple posts on all of Izuku's Bakugan that he will be mainly using in this What If, some of you are still goddamn confused. So, let me run this down. For his Ventus Bakugan, he will have that of Storm Skyrus. He will also have that of Talion, and he will have that of Jakor. For his Pyrus Bakugan, Izuku will have that of 3 forms of Drago, being that of his Delta Dragonoid form, his Neo Dragonoid form, and his Titanium Dragonoid form. For Subterra, he will have that of Gorom, also have that of Dryad, and also that of Avior as well. For Chaos, he has that of Blade Tigrera, Lardland, and Luma Growl. For Darkus, now this is one thing I've been holding off for a while now. Originally, on the post, it was only that of Infinity Hydronoid and also Betadron as well, because I was in that of defense of either choosing that of Darak or Leonidas. Originally, I had that of Lionholt, but I decided to, basically put aside that of Lionholt. And everybody voted for that of Leonidas, which is not too surprising given on how important and how much of a fan favorite Bakugan he is in the games after all. So yeah. So again, Izuku's Bakugan will be composed of that of Darkest Bakugan, is that of Infinity Hydronoid, Betadron, and Leonidas. And given that Leonidas only has that of 2 of all forms, it's going to be that of either regular Leonidas or Alpha Leonidas. And last but not least is that of his Aquos Bakugan, from that of Mix Elfin, Blast Talion, and that of, TriStar. So yes, that is all of the Bakugan that Izuku will be using during this time in this show. Other Bakugan will make an appearance, but mainly in that of spherical form. Izuku will not be using them in combat outside of the ones I've spoken of. So anyone who asks otherwise in future parts, please don't. Now with that out of the way, let's get into this with that of a recap. In the last part, Izuku is getting ready for his time at that of UA. The fact that now, since he's getting ready for UA, he needs to think more about that of combat and versatility. Originally, his playstyle was always to rely on that of old school Bakugan and then taking advantage of that of, well, people using high G power and basically depowering them to a huge degree, thanks to his quirk infecting his playstyle. But instead, he wanted to now focus more on versatility in his hero training by gaining other Bakugan throughout the series. Even with that of Lena, who also plans on going to that of UA, saying that Izuku could be a bridge to basically rise that of Bakugan even further than what it is now. And look forward to what kind of hero he truly does become in the future. With not only that, Julie giving that of Izuku her, well, prized Subterra Dryad and putting it to better use than her, actually, and looks forward to seeing what he can do with it in the future, while also flirting with him as well, as he makes it to UA with having that of the pro hero, the underground pro hero Eraserhead, as his homeroom teacher, doing a quirk apprehension test, showing on what a few of his Bakugan are capable of, while basically doing on what he's capable of too, as he's not as 100% as fit as his canon counterpart, but he's no slouch when it comes to, well, the apprehension test as well, making it into that of the top 5 at least, but never expecting that this is how his first day would go. So, with now all that out of the way, let's get into this, shall we guys? As the first day at UA comes to an end, with everybody from Class 1A basically going off on their own, either heading back home or basically wandering around for a bit. Izuku deciding to basically head back home, as Drago coming up saying, if you have something to say, Izuku, you should probably say it by now. But then saying, figures I can't hide anything from you and Skyrus and the others. With then Skyrus saying, you're thinking about that of your homeroom teacher Aizawa, are you not? But then Izuku basically standing in place saying, how can I not? He literally threatened that he would expel us, even though it was basically a fib. I was kind of worried after everything I've gone through. With not to mention, before then, bring out that of Lumagrow saying, why did you have to egg him on like that, Lumagrow? The guy seemed like he wasn't going to take anything from you, saying, the guy just rubs me the wrong way. Somebody like him needs to be put down a peg. He's so goddamn high and mighty, Izuku. Within, Helios spoke up saying, you're one to talk. Within, Lumagrow looking at that of Infinity, Helios going, I don't want to hear that from you, Mr. the strongest Bakugan of all time. Because I am. Better remember it, you damn mutt. Saying, bring it. As the two most prideful Bakugan basically are about to go head to head with each other, with Izuku grabbing the two saying, knock it off. Within, somebody coming up behind him saying, so you talked to your Bakugan before, as Izuku freaking out a little bit, while Drago alongside Skyrus basically floating around, with it as being Yui Kode, saying, Miss Kode, hi. With then she basically just walking past him while still walking, with then saying, walking to the train station. Wanna tag along? With that, Izuku saying, sure. But then somebody else coming up to next to them being, if you are all heading to the train station, why do we not all walk together? As coming up beside them being the tall brunette Ida, with Izuku saying, sure, I don't mind. As the two basically begin walking, within, Kode getting a little bit confused, saying, you talk to your Bakugan, and they talk back to you. Is that due to your quirk, Midoriya? Within, hearing the girl basically talk quite a bit, even though usually she basically just grunts and nods, with Izuku going, yeah, since basically I made their personality is based on them in the anime and how they act, but a little bit more, mellowed out than the usual. Within, Ida saying, I'm not too familiar with that of Bakugan. Could you please explain it, because I've never heard I've never really truly understood it. With, as Izuku was about to explain, somebody beat him to the punch saying, Bakugan is based off that of the trading card from that of the pre-quirk era. It's gotten a resurgence for the past 6 years now. The card game is basically using spherical toys to face against each other and then use the cards to take advantage of that of your opponent. The one who basically has even more G power than after that of the round is the winner, based on the ability cards to either raise or decrease your opponent's G power, or even use that of ability cards to amplify yours or your opponent's too, depending on how much G power that the card has, and even has that of special abilities that can be used against him too. Even having that of multiple equipment and gear added to him, such as that of, Trap Bakugan, Battle Gear, Baku Nano, and even that of the 2 abilities such as that of Baku Mutation and Baku Fusion. However, when it comes to the last 2, you need specific Bakugan to use them, such as that of, Mectanium Surge Bakugan, and also Bakugan in between that of Mectanium Surge. Within, everybody quite shocked, except Izuku saying, Miss Isis. Within, the glasses-wearing Blue Net, who, if you think about it, could actually look like that of, Ida's relative of Ida, actually. Speaking of, within, Ida actually quite shocked, saying, you're Lena. With her saying, hello, Cousin Tenya. With both Yui and Izuku actually caught off guard with a few of his Bakugan, with then Alcor saying, this is interesting, with Lars Lyons finally speaking up as she goes, interesting, very interesting indeed. Family meeting with each other and going to the same school together. With then Lena saying, Midoriya, I didn't see you at that of orientation. I'm guessing that Jakor, halfway across that of UA, was your doing, I see. With then, Izuku a little bit embarrassed saying, so everybody noticed actually. With then, Ida going, Cousin Nina, I didn't know that you were here at UA. With then, she adjusting her glasses saying, everybody was more focused on you being in the hero course. So I didn't bother basically explaining myself. The only people that knew were basically my parents. Within, Talion going, I see. You two are cousins, it seems. You two are cousins. You do too look alike quite a bit. However, you both don't have the same last name though. With then, Ida shocked by this, as hearing out of Talion's voice as he clears his throat, going, you see, her mother, who is my aunt, actually. Within, Lena going, and besides, you've seen my true appearance, Midoriya. I take more after that of my father than my mother. And given that I don't have the traditional, Ida family quirk, which is basically having that of engines or mufflers coming out of my body, not really useful when it comes to that of heroism, after all. With then, Ida was about to say something, with Izuku saying, I wouldn't say that for sure. Sure, your quirk isn't as flashy, but it can have certain reasons and certain applications. Like, take espionage, for example. Sure, your core features, being your face and looks, don't change, but your skin tone, color, and other features can change. It can be used for that of infiltration missions, going underground, stuff like that. Just because your quirk doesn't seem like flashy or heroic, doesn't mean that it can't be useful. With then hearing that, Lena completely caught off guard by the praise that Izuku said to her, with making her blush before then turning her aside saying, thank you for your kind words, Midoriya. Just want to tell you this, as a little bit of a warning since you and I are acquaintances, after all. With then going to that of Izuku's ear, saying, you already have a bit of a target on you, not by that of just the school itself, but also by those of your own hero course. Class 1B, certain members will now be looking down on you, all because before then, looking at that of Yui alongside that of Ida, saying, you all didn't go to that of orientation. Some believe that you have that as special permission, or you believe some even believe that you are all basically beneath that of those here in UA. See yourself as better than everybody else. Within Ida hearing that, saying, we know none of the sort. We do not believe such a thing. I mean, maybe 2 or 3 members within that of our own homeroom believe that. But we were basically told to do that of a quirk apprehension test. We couldn't within, saying, you think the reasoning or basically the explanation means nothing? We are teenagers who come to that of their own realizations. Your homeroom teacher means nothing to them. All they know is that Class 1A didn't show up to orientation. You now have a target on your backs. Just to let you all know, not everybody here is basically going to be nice to you just because you're heroes in training. Adjusting your glasses and also, adjusting that of her bag on that of her straps, saying, just to let you know, better keep your head down while you can. Don't make too much of necessary hype or attention on yourselves. And basically just keep moving forward. Within hearing those words, then start saying, wow, she's pleasant. Before then, looking at Izuku. Before then going, and good luck with yourself, Midoriya. I would hate to see something bad or your credibility as one of the best Bakugan players in the city basically turned down because they're too focused on you being in the hero course. Before that, she soon walks away. Before Izuku a little bit caught off guard, but thanking her. Before then, a certain female Bakugan can up and speak up saying, ooh, I think she likes you, Izuku. As it being Elfin going, Elfin? That's not, she's just being nice. It's nothing like that. Oh, I don't know. Girl like that. It's a female intuition I have. Even if I am just a Bakugan, I can definitely see it. Within Yui going, maybe. Who could say? Before then going, so, train station. As then, all 3 of them couldn't help but agree as they all head to that train station. But then began talking with one another, getting to know one another, and even Izuku asking quite a bit about that of their quirks too, as well. With Yui, not really too fazed, but quite shocked that somebody's taking quite an interest into that of her size quirk after all. And she can't help but gets, quite embarrassed, but doesn't really like to show it. With only just a little bit of blushing tint on her cheeks. And this was a pretty decent friend group that started in the beginning of the year for Izuku. As for the very next day, they finally officially start that of classes, with classes exactly being as they would any other high school after all. Japanese high school. From that of homeroom class, to that of English's class, Japanese literature, algebra, social studies, science, and many more classes, of course. With not only that, the fact that, the school also has that of a pro hero as in charge of the entire cafeteria, made by that of the chef hero lunch rush, which made Izuku geek out, of course, seeing that of the pro known for basically making delicious meals and healthy as well. However, what really is exciting is the fact that, lunches are basically free at UA. Students don't even need to pay for that of lunches at all, which is completely positive after all. But with that of other classes now taken care of, it's now time for that of the one class that was able to put UA on the map. It's Hero Course class. With the class, however, making everybody in Class 1A quite excited, wondering what they're going to be doing today, what they'll be having, and stuff like that. With then, Eliko spoke up saying, I hope it's combat training. I would like to basically be able to show my stuff in battle now. But then Spatarax came out saying, I agree with you there, brother. I'm getting anxious to basically be able to fight back. With Izuku going, come on you two, I know you're excited. Trust me, I am too, but gotta practice things in moderation after all. With then, soon somebody slides through out of the door saying, I am here, coming through the door like a hero. As coming through the door in that such a dramatic and basically quite, embarrassing way is the number one hero of Japan himself, All Might. Hands basically holding onto that of the door, chest puffed out and all, leaning forward as well, with his signature smile and everything, leaving everybody in the classroom completely and utterly stunned at seeing the number one hero in front of them. With everybody in the class getting excited seeing that of All Might in the flesh, and that he is an actual teacher and is going to be their teacher. Not to mention, some of them even noticed that of his costume being his Silver Age costume. Especially Izuku noticing that of his Silver Age costume, as he preferred that of his Golden Age costume. But even so, the Silver Age costume was always one of his personal favorites though. Within, Lars Lyon spoke up to that out loud saying, so this is the number one hero, All Might. Truly a man of power. However, he seems a bit of a, what's the word for it? A buffoon? Within, everybody heard that, with Izuku looking at that of Lars Lyon saying, why did you have to say that? With almost half of the class basically looking at Izuku at pure and utter disbelief, while some looking at him in complete and utter hatred. Even though these are farthest thing from his thoughts, when it comes to supposed sentient quirks, people always believe that are the most intimate thoughts coming out in person after all. So, again, it's hard for Izuku to say otherwise, when in fact his quirk is just putting in that of the personalities of the Bakugan he has seen throughout that of the Bakugan series. With then, All Might getting everybody's attention saying, I'm not too basically broken up by it. If anything, I do have a bit of extremities about myself that I always try to take care of, but always forget to. But that's aside, we're not here to talk about me. We're here to learn all about the 20 of you. Because as your new hero training teacher, we're going to be doing that of the basics, focusing on that of hero combat training. Within, everybody getting excited, with even Bakugo screaming, yes, that's what I'm talking about, fight class! With even Kirishima basically getting pumped up, saying, this is going to be absolutely manly. But before we begin that of combat training, you all must have filled that of, the necessary forms needed, creating custom-made outfits for that of combat and for the hero course. Well, to let you know now, all of them have been finished and taken care of. And before then, pulling out that of remote, pressing a button, as then multiple suitcases with numbers begin to pop out in the back of the classroom, saying each of those suitcases are numbered by that of your seating order here in Class 1A, and they hold that of the very thing that makes a hero, their hero costume. So, make sure to meet me at that of Training Field Beta. I'll be waiting, as then All Might blitzes out of that of the classroom and even runs through that of the halls, creating out of a dust trail, leaving everybody in Class 1A both at awe and still in shock. Within, soon, Lars Lyon woke up saying, truly powerful, but yet, once again, how is that clown your number one hero? With once again, everybody basically looking at Izuku, and even Izuku looking at Lars Lyon with literal tears in his eyes. With then, that's when one of his darkest Bakugan, being Leonidas, soon spoke up saying, Lars Lyon, with all due respect, please shut the hell up before you get Izuku bullied again. I don't think none of us wants a repeat of his time in junior high school. With Lars Lyon realizing, right, apologies. It's just my own preference and my own thoughts about that of the number one hero. Not Izuku's, given how much of a fanboy he is. I am aware. With then Leonidas saying, then act like it. And stop shouting out that of your opinion. With Izuku still crying in the fact. With after that little, drama session, with everybody in Class 1A getting that of their suitcases with their hero costumes inside, and then heading to that of the changing room to put them on. Around that of 10 minutes later, that's when everybody in Class 1A finally arrived where All Might's been waiting for them. With then saying, ha ha ha, now that's what I'm talking about. It's not only best to basically act like a pro, you gotta look the part of the pro. And I must say, students, you embody that quite well. Within everybody in Class 1A showing off that of their hero costumes, with some being quite badass, some being quite practical to basically appeal more to that of the common people, while some look quite, downright weird. Within one person finally arriving outside in front of everybody, with him having that of his hero costume, as the last one being Izuku, as his hero costume is quite different, but still pretty similar to that of his always changing hero costume. Instead of basically taking more and more after that of All Might, scrapping his original designs, he decides to basically focus more on incorporating that of his new quirk after all, and wanting to be more practical and even basically make sure to carry all of his Bakugan with him, alongside extra equipment if need be. Basically extra, pocket holsters to hold that of his Bakugan, a new throwing glove alongside that of a launcher, alongside that of a wrist-mounted, launcher if need be, actually. And in case for that of extra, close quarters combat, he has that of a army grate. He has that of a, combat knife in the below that of his right ankle, actually. As the outfit is pretty similar to that of his standard colors, mainly green, with added that of black, white, and a touch of red as well. However, he still kept one thing about that of, always emulate All Might, like the tufts of hair that are normally shaped into that of a V. However, the hood on that of his sweatshirt makes it look like he has that of rabbit ears, actually. So, some things always stay the same. And soon, somebody coming up to that of Izuku, as it being Yui, saying, look good. As seeing that of the black-haired girl, with Izuku saying, Kode, thanks. I wanted to go more for a practical and casual look, but still able to move around in, before looking at that of her costume, as it's basically a red, skin-tight, black and white, red and white uniform with that of a cap on her head. With then Izuku basically embarrassed about seeing her in that outfit, actually, making his face go red, with Yui not really caring, or rather not understanding why. Before then, All Might brings everybody over saying, now students, since you're all here, let me explain to what you all be doing for that of combat training. However, before All Might could explain or basically get everything taken care of, that's when everybody began barraging him with that of, questions for him. Like, will they be expelled if they fail? What kind of combat training will they be doing? How much can they basically brutalize their opponents? And the most, obvious one is, does this cape make me look très chic? We all know who that was. Within, All Might saying, students, I have that of super strength and speed, not super hearing. Before then, that's when All Might also begins answering each question, saying that he won't be expelling anybody if they don't do well, as they all need to improve in their own way. he was also about to explain what they'll be doing for that combat training, telling Bakugo that brutalizing will basically get him one-way ticket to that of the principal's office. And with that of Aoyama, he's saying he looks good in the cape. But then, now with everybody's questions taken care of, he now begins to explain that the training that they'll be doing won't be doing that of, well, face against robots like you would be given the area that they're in. Instead, they'll be doing that of 2-on-2 combat drills. Heroes versus villains. Basically pairing up into that of two teams, with one team being the heroes and the other team being the villains. With the heroes needing to stop the villains, and the villains need to prevent the heroes from completing their task. Which, he soon explains, being the villains have that of a dangerous bomb in their hideout. The heroes must retrieve and capture the bomb. However, if unable to do so, they are even able to capture that of the villains to complete their task. Same also goes for that of the villains. They just need to let that of time run out and they win. However, if they want to capture all of the heroes, they are free to do so as well. With hearing all this, making everybody quite curious, with Ida once again basically cutting All Might off once again, asking questions. How will they basically sort out teams? How will they decide who should be on which team? Before then, Izuku basically placing a hand on Ida's shoulder, saying, please let All Might continue. With Ida basically getting embarrassed, saying, right, sorry. With Izuku basically trying to give off that of a comforting smile. However, hard to do so when the fact that, well, he's reminded of Lisa, who is quite serious too, but she's never like this, cutting people off entirely. She seems like more of the cold-hearted strictness and seriousness after all. With then, All Might continue that they'll be drawing lots. Depending on which letter that you get is based on who you'll be paired up with. With Ida was about to explain, with Izuku cutting him off saying, Ida, it kind of makes sense on why we randomly pick lots. Given that, in the field, because occasionally we won't even be working with people from that of the same agency we work with, or better yet, we'll always have to be working with people from other agencies that we don't know of or know about that of their quirks or abilities. Unless we run into them on all the time occasionally. Within hearing all that, Ida saying, I see. That makes sense, Midoriya. Thank you for explaining this for me. Within, All Might looking at that of Izuku as it gives him a thumbs up, with Izuku getting embarrassed that his idol gave him a thumbs up after all. Within, All Might continue going, now then, allow me to fully explain. Please come up and grab that of lots. Within, as everybody grabs that of a letter, which soon everybody be separated into teams. However, Izuku's teammate is, well, actually, Mina Ashido. With Mina seeing this saying, hey there, Greenie. It looks like we're basically teaming up together. Saying, yeah, I guess so. With Izuku embarrassed being around that of a cute girl like that of Mina. It also doesn't help that her outfit basically pronounces her curves a lot. In the best way, but still. However, as they would be in that of, well, Group A, and since Yui replaced that of Ochako, she'll be with that of Aoyama, which is, if I recall, in Group F. Which would be a mystery on how that will basically work after all. However, some things always stay the same, as Group A would be going against Group D, which is Bakugo's team, with him and Ida after all. With Izuku seeing this, realizing that he'll be facing against that of Bakugo. As he realized, this may be a long time coming actually, with even several of his own Bakugan telling him that this needs to be done. Especially the fact that Bakugo still seems to belittle and look down on Izuku. This may be the only chance that he has if he wants to basically prove himself not to be the very weakling that he always thought he was. Within hearing that, Izuku clenching his fist, within looking at that of Bakugo, who looks at him with that of a pure and utter joy and wanting to wreck him. However, Izuku, on the other hand, basically hits him with the same intensity, but the intensity of not wanting to destroy Bakugo, but wanting to prove himself that he's not the same person that he thought he was. With that, it pisses off Bakugo even more, with All Might explaining that the villain team will have that of extra time to repair and hide that of the bomb, while the heroes need to plan and strategize on what they need to do. With that, Bakugo and Ida head out to where the test area will be for them to hide away that of the bomb, while Izuku and Mina try and figure out that of a perfect strategy and tact and plan to take down that of Bakugo and Ida. With Ida basically placing the bomb on that of the 4th floor, however, realizing that the bomb isn't really a bomb but made out of paper mache after all, which makes sense because of course they wouldn't have something so dangerous here. Within, Bakugo screaming, "Hey, 4 eyes." Within, Ida saying, "Yes, what is it, Bakugo? Also, that's not my name." But however, Bakugo not caring about that, saying, "Hey, do you really think Deku's quirk could be used here? Even though this place is pretty damn small?" Within saying, if I think Midoriya may have that of a disadvantage actually. With saying, given that a lot of his Bakugan, if I recall them being called, are too big to basically fit in buildings like this. If anything, if he uses the Bakugan, as for example, bringing out that of Jakor, Jakor would basically destroy that of the building, which would most likely disqualify that of Izuku's team, which meaning he and Ashido will lose and Bakugo would win alongside Ida. Before then, Bakugo hearing this, knowing that Izuku would never do something so stupid. So in fact, part of him thinks that he plans on trying to beat him up close and personal one-on-one without his quirk. And in Bakugo's, fragile ego of a mind, he would basically think that's exactly what Izuku would do. Try and fight him without a quirk to prove that he's better than him. That he's looking down on him without his quirk just because of the circumstances, which pisses Bakugo off even more, making him clench his fist in that of pure and utter anger and annoyance. Before then, Ida could basically continue saying, "You, 4 eyes, stay here and basically left the bomb. Make sure that pink face doesn't get the damn bomb either. Do what you need to. As for me, I'm going to basically beat that Deku with an inch of his life and put him back in his goddamn place where he belongs." If Ida's saying, "Wait, Deku, where do you..." Before then, realizing, "Wait, Bakugo, we still have to fully make a plan," saying, "I have a plan. You staying the hell out of my way and let me beat the hell out of Deku." As Bakugo basically already heads out, waiting for the perfect opportunity when when that of the test fully begins. As for Izuku and Mina, as they begin making a plan, before Mina saying, Okay, I think this plan could actually work. I'm still surprised that you didn't bring this up earlier during that of the, quirk apprehension test. With Izuku scratching the back of his head saying, couldn't at the time. Especially given that I didn't have them with me on me at the time, too. I only brought in a good handful of my Bakugan. At least the Bakugan that I thought would be good for this at the time. If I brought in all of them, who knows what would happen. That's where this costume comes in after all. That's when Skyrus soon basically flies up in between the two. This plan could work, Izuku, but it does rely on that of Bakugo. That's when Drago springs up saying, and knowing Bakugo, he would definitely basically blow off Ida and come straight for you, and you know this. He won't even bother looking at that of Ashido. Elfin finally coming up saying, still, I really think that kid just needs to get laid for once. He is way too wound up for a 15-year-old. With that of Izuku blushing, Mina couldn't help but basically cross her arms and in agreement saying, preach, sister, preach. Before grabbing Elfin saying, don't say stuff like that, Elfin. Before getting more and more embarrassed, as he can't help but say, look, there are other ways I can do things as well. However, this is the one plan that we can work with to take advantage of Kachan and how he would act after all. Coming straight from me, saying, still, can't believe it, you already have a rival in the beginning of class already. All because of a guy that basically hated you as a kid. Honestly, I'm kind of jealous, but also, I'm kind of glad that I don't have somebody like Bakugo basically coming for my throat. Within, Izuku saying, gee, thanks. Before then, Mina patting him on the shoulder saying, but don't worry, I got your back. As long as we follow your good old plan, Midori, I think we'd be good. Within, Izuku blinking say, Midori? Yeah, it's a nickname I have for you. You don't like it? Saying, no, it's fine. Nobody's never bothered calling me by a nickname outside of Kachan, outside of basically making fun of me. However, before he thinks of that of Julie, who calls him Izu after all, which makes him even blush even more. Before then, Mina saying, well, call me your first. So, ready to do this, Midori? As she basically gets pumped up with Izuku saying, yeah, let's do it! As they both raise their fist high up into the air. With now, that's when All Might gives them the begin signal. Before then, Izuku saying, knowing Kachan, he expects us to go through that of the front entrance. So, best to basically sneak through that of the top on the second floor. As they make it up to that of the second floor by using rope that Izuku had with that of his support gear, going through one of the windows, and then soon Izuku saying, knowing Kachan, he would leave that of hiding the bomb to that of Ida. So, like I said before, focus on finding the bomb first. If we find Ida, we'll find the bomb. With Mina going, all right, that could work. But what about, within saying about that of Kachan? Well, like I said, Kachan won't be focusing on you. If anything, as they continue walking through that of the, hall on the second floor, about to try and head up to that of the third floor, that's when, soon, Izuku, with that of a, somewhat pure, utter instinct, he jumps out of the way, grabbing Mina, as then, that's when a blast of explosions basically nearly hit where they both were, as Bakugo has finally made his appearance. Before then, moving the smoke out of the way, saying, there you are, you damn nerd. I'm going to make sure I put you back in your damn place, no matter what. Within, Izuku, a little bit annoyed, but realize this is what's definitely going to happen. Before that, he lets go of Mina, saying, Ashido, now! Saying, right. Before then, she basically runs away, as expecting an explosion towards her back. However, it never happened. As she looks back, seeing that Bakugo's eyes are only on Izuku. Within, she realized he really is only focused on Midori. Within, Izuku explaining, Kachan will be focusing only on me and me alone. He has some kind of idea on basically trying to beat me, and we'll have that of pure and utter tunnel vision on me. We'll take advantage of that. I'll focus on beating him. With Mina going, are you sure? I mean, don't you think that it'd be best that we work together? With Izuku shaking his head saying, no. If anything, we need to focus on where the bomb is. And I'm not trying to face against Kachan on my own as well. I know if we basically take too much damage, both of us, we would be at a disadvantage against Ida. Plus, Kachan is no slouch. People don't know this, but he's basically talented, and I mean beyond talented with his quirk. He barely trains with it, but he has great reflexes and skills with it. If he has more people against him, and if he works harder, he sweats longer, and if he keeps on sweating, his explosions get stronger and faster as well. We need to make sure that he doesn't continue sweating too much. That's why he needs to focus on me and me alone. With Mina hearing this, a little bit nervous and not entirely sure about it, but decides to accept what Izuku has to say and follows the plan to find out of the bomb. With Bakugo going, I'm going to enjoy basically beating you in the ground. I'll make sure to beat you so badly that not even the proctors will basically stop. Just enough to basically traumatize you like the worthless nerd you are, and so you would drop out of this damn school like you should have! With Izuku feeling quite nervous and feeling somewhat scared, before then, multiple voices coming into his head. One from Helios saying, "Stand your ground, Izuku. He's nothing but just a worthless weakling speaking loudly, just because he's coasting on his talent and power." With TriStar getting up to speak saying, "Yeah, Helios is right. Beat that damn Pomeranian like he's black and blue." With Tigrera speaking up going, "In less vulgar ways, this is one milestone that you have to face yourself, Izuku. Even though you planned this out and strategized properly, this is something that needs to be done sooner than later. You know this." With Izuku saying, "Yeah, I am. That's why." Before then, going through one of his pouches, and through that of his one utility belt, he grabs something. With Bakugo thinking that it's a Bakugan saying, "So you're really that damn desperate to beat me? I thought better of you, you damn nerd. You really want to disqualify yourself just to prove that you can beat me?" With then, Bakugo going with that of his iconic, legendary, right hook after all. With Izuku seeing this, as he basically gets in close, grabs him by his arm, and flips him over, giving him his iconic judo throw, causing Bakugo to basically bounce off the ground from that slam, and basically gasp in pain. With then, Izuku saying, "I got the opportunity now. I just need to wait until Kachan recovers." As Izuku gets away, getting some distance away from Bakugo, with Bakugo trying to feeling the pain on his back, but deciding, "You're so dead, you damn bastard." Before then, blitzing towards that of Izuku once again. However, Izuku saying, "Now, let's do this. Battle gear boost!" With then, as he soon tosses that of the Bakugan that he thought he had into the air. However, it was actually Bakugan Battle Gear. However, this Battle Gear, as it soon basically folds open, as it looks like that of a massive black cannon. Within, soon a bright purple light consumes that of the, cannon-like Bakugan toy. Before soon something heavy begins to land into that of the hallway. With it, as soon something's on that of Izuku's shoulder, a massive two-barreled cannon. Let's go, Boomix! As seeing the battle gear, with even everybody in that of the monitor room seeing this, somewhat shocked. Even those who were basically familiar with Bakugan couldn't help but be shocked. With Yui going, "That's the Battle Gear Boomix from the Gundalian Invasion, saga Bakugan. I thought it only worked on Bakugan." With All Might seeing the saying, "So that's why young Midoriya's hero costume didn't have a huge amount of support gear, unlike that of a few others here in Class 1A, who needed some support gear. He already had support gear from the very beginning. His Bakugan." With Bakugo seeing this, with that of a target display in front of that of Izuku, as he locks onto that of Bakugo, with saying, "Target locked." Before then, Izuku pulls the trigger, sending that of a powerful blast of darkest energy towards Bakugo. With Bakugo seeing this, as then he tries sending that of a huge blast and torrent of explosions, realizing that his gauntlets aren't ready yet. But even so, he tries his best, and his best isn't good enough, as the dark blast basically consumes that of Bakugo's explosions, sending him flying into that of the wall of the hallway, causing him to black out for a good while. With then Izuku seeing that Bakugo is slumped, putting the cannon down before taking a breather, saying, "Ah, that actually worked." With as still shocked that it actually worked, as of course during his time when training with that of his Bakugan, when he first did that of certain when he had that of certain Bakugan that could use that of battle gear from that of the Gundalian invasion era, he didn't really think much about it at first, just thinking that it's just an upgrade or a booster for that of his Bakugan, of course. Nothing more, nothing less. However, he got to thinking and wondering if only he could use that of his Bakugan battle gear. Maybe a way to amplify his speed, power, or extra weaponry. Because again, he can't always rely on his Bakugan because given how large they are. If anything, his Bakugan are more useful for outdoor battles and instead of infiltration or indoor battles. Hell, if anything, some of them would even be grateful for disaster rescues instead of, well, urban rescues, actually. To carrying people outside of dangerous zones, of course. And even remove that of certain rubble, too. However, the Bakugan that convinced Izuku to try something like this was actually Gorom. Gorom convinced him that to try and use that of battle gear himself, as the first battle gear he tried using was Jet Core, the very first battle gear that Drago ever used in, well, the Bakugan anime series. When the first time he used the battle gear, he basically decided to fly so high in the sky that he couldn't help but enjoy himself, wondering if this is what it was like to wield a quirk for the very first time in his life. That wasn't just him using his quirk in one way or another. And he didn't stop there. He tried more and more other Bakugan battle gear to help him. Hell, he even tried that of Baku Nano too, the substitute battle gear for that of, well, Titanium Surge. It took a while to get used to that of Baku Nano, to be honest. But honestly, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too hard. All it was is basically just a change of scenery. But other than that, he now has a way to basically fight without using his Bakugan all the time. And that being the battle gear, where he can also use battle gear to amplify his Bakugan in combat. He can also use that of battle gear and Baku Nano for himself as his self-made support gear. So in a way, Izuku is always ready to fight back when need be without his Bakugan if he has to. With Izuku putting Boomix on that of his back, before then pulling out that of the capture cups for that of Bakugo. And with that, Bakugo has now been eliminated. But then saying, figures as much. You were way too arrogant against me, Kachan. Thought about basically putting me in my place and looking down on me so much. Even was too damn blind about what I could truly capable of. You're normally not like this. Before then, realizing, when it always involves me, you always get tunnel vision. In a way, it's one of your weakest and one of your most exploitable weaknesses as well. With Izuku saying his piece, before then, still having that of Boomix on his back, before contacting that of Mina saying, Ashido, Kachan has been eliminated. I repeat, Kachan's been eliminated. With then, Mina saying, yep, and I found the bomb, but let's just say Ida's not making this easy for me. With then, Ida saying, of course I would not, you foolish heroine. After all, as a maniacal and twisted villain such as myself, I would never fall to the likes of you. Ha ha ha. With then, Mina couldn't help but mentally think, God, he's so funny. It's so stupidly cringy. With Izuku hearing that over the comm, saying, sit back, I'm on my way. But then, dematerializing Boomix back into his hand, putting the battle gear back up, before then pulling out another one of his battle gear, saying, this will definitely work against Ida. Unable to see the battle gear that he has, but definitely believing it will work. With Mina trying to use that of her acid quirk to basically enhance that of her, mobility and speed by basically using her custom made, boots for her costume to basically slide on on the ground to make her slippery and increase her speed and mobility. However, Ida is way too fast even for her in her custom made gear, as he continues grabbing that of the paper mache bomb and trying to drag out time so, Mina can never catch it, saying, give up, hero! No matter what you do, you will always fail! With then, Mina saying, okay, at first it was really funny. Now it's just starting to get really, really annoying. With then, Izuku saying, I'm here, Ashido. Saying, about damn time, Midori. Before then, Izuku, already having the battle gear in his hands, with a look of seriousness saying, I'm only going to say this once, Ida. It's over. Give up now. Kachan's been eliminated, and you're the only one left. With then saying, like I would, you foolish hero. Even if I am the last one, I will know that I will prevail. Saying, all right, you asked for it. Before then, channeling his energy through that of his battle gear, saying, battle gear boost! Tossing up into the air as it activates, looking like that of a cone. However, it soon basically takes that of it opens up looking like that of, a star, actually. However, once it absorbs and becomes a part of Izuku, they actually look like that of giant moth wings. Battle gear, Sparta Blaster! Seeing that of the massive, Chaos moth wings, with then catching everybody off guard. Before then, Izuku saying, now then, let me show you what this baby can do. As then, he directs that of a powerful light that basically engulfs that of Ida. However, instead of it hurting him, it's basically blinding his vision, as it's becoming so intense that all he could see is a blinding white light, saying, ugh, what is this? I can't properly see. I can't see anything. Within, Mina realizing, wait, I can still see though. With Izuku staying in place saying, Ashido, go, get the bomb now, while Ida's distracted. Saying, oh, right. As she soon slides, trying to get to that of the bomb, with Ida basically hearing that, trying to, basically speed around, trying to stop that, trying to get the bomb, but he can't because he's basically just flanting everywhere, speeding through places after all. Until the point he basically hits a wall. But after that, Mina was able to grab onto that of the bomb, saying, and I did it! Within All Might screams, the hero team wins! With Izuku hearing that, saying, we won. We actually won! Before soon deactivating that Sparta Blaster as it reverts back to normal. Within going to Ida as the guy basically slumping onto the ground, removing his helmet, saying, dang garnet, I failed. Within, Izuku offering a hand, saying, you may have failed, Ida, but you really did great. Amazing out there, actually. Within hearing this, Ida can help but say, thank you, Midoriya. However, that's when Bakugo also woke up, realizing that he was captured and also eliminated, and not only that, lost. With him realizing, I lost to Deku. I lost a Deku of all people. This can't be happening. This can't be real. This has to be some damn nightmare. I am Katsuki Bakugo. I always win. It's my destiny to win. My destiny to be the #1 hero. So why? Before then, Bakugo begins tearing up through his mask, saying, so why the hell did I lose to him? Why him of all damn people? With one who finally got that of a victory that was outside of Bakugan, and one who has basically been told he was the best, getting that of his very first true loss after all. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Love to read them. So, this is what I've been wanting to build up, guys. How Izuku basically is going to be fighting without his Bakugan. Because again, even though his Bakugan are awesome, Izuku cannot adjust the size of them to basically fight for him. As much as I want that, that would basically make it too OP. Unless you guys want me to for maybe extra inclusion. Maybe as a super move, actually. If Izuku can figure it out, who could say? Who could say? But that's beside the point. It's going to be a while until we reach that point, even if I do that. So yeah. He now has battle gear and Baku Nano to basically use in combat outside of his Bakugan. And how good he can be used when use it for more as an, element of surprise after all. But with that now said, who knows? People may develop countermeasures for that of his battle gear and Baku Nano now that they know. So yeah. At any rate, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification, keep to date my videos over the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, my gaming channel, my side channel, my other channel, my Patreon, and my Cash App. All link in the description below. Not to mention, if you guys have that of a what if one-shot you want me to do on the channel for you guys, please donate in the comments as a super thanks. And I get straight to you for that, guys. At any rate, with all that said, this is Leon Mookie, signing out. Later, guys, and hope you all take care. Thank you so much for watching and staying to the end of the video.
But there's still so much on my love channel.
That's right, such as my other what if content and the most recent what ifs as well.
Not to mention his playlist, where you can watch all of his other what ifs.
Which, all said and done, this is Leon.
And Shiro.
And you're watching Leon Mookie.